Good morning, coming to you now from Lake George, New York. And I have been just beginning to study um, the brain, um, dopamine. We give dopamine in the medical field for, to keep people alive, to keep their organs alive. Um, People in critical condition, patients, receive dopamine so that blood supply can stay to their critical organs until we can heal them. And the brain, the heart, um, kidneys, liver. Dopamine is the greatest neurotransmitter, chemical hormone associated with addiction. And I've just been meditating on our addictive behaviors. Um, but beyond that, just our urges to have to fulfill certain desires that come from dopamine addiction, and how I grew up as a Christian. And, we talked about sin. We talked about addiction in the sense of it obviously being very bad. We had to stop our sinful behaviors, stop our urges, and bring them under submission to the Holy Spirit, which is truth. But how can we do that if we don't understand what is causing us to be addicted to the things that we're addicted to? And, even as Christians, I'll say, we're very classifying of people. And that makes us judgmental because we look at the word addiction, and of course we think of like a drug addict or a porn addict or a alcoholic or a gambler. But we don't think of other addictions like having to wake up in the morning and look at our phone right away, or being addicted to drama, or being addicted to food, or being addicted to shopping, or being addicted to TV, being addicted to gossip, being addicted to controlling others, controlling situations around us because of fear. An addiction is connected to fear, inherent, deep-rooted fear in the deepest parts of us. And that's where dopamine is at work. That's what dopamine does. Dopamine keeps alive. It's for survival. It keeps alive the organs and the body. So like if somebody goes into shock, obviously everything is going to suck into the major organs. And dopamine is going to do that. It's going to cause the blood supply to come in from the periphery and use up what it has, just not waste anything, and just cause the blood supply to pump to the internal organs instead of the viscera. And I was saying that because I want to talk about, if we don't understand why we get addicted, that addiction is rooted to fear, and what addictions we have, because we all have them. And again, I'm going to just continue to share that we can't judge anyone. This is the message that I hear reverberating in the spirit, is that we can't judge anyone. We don't even understand why we're addicted. So let's take, examples. We get up in the morning and we think about coffee. I mean, I think about coffee the night before. I get it prepared. And I have my cup out. My brain already is getting a ejection of dopamine when I think about it. And if I think about it too much, I'll actually want to have a cup of coffee, because my brain is addicted to that dopamine rush that I get because of my addiction to coffee. In the morning, first thing I think about before I have coffee is the coffee, and my brain gets a rush of dopamine. And I like that dopamine rush. Um, I have experienced that, and I'm still battling that now that I have been involved in trading the stock market. It definitely is dopamine addiction, definitely. And if you don't think you have dopamine addiction, you're in denial because we all do. And that's why we can't judge anyone. When we take a look at ourselves, when we go inward and we look at our own dopamine addictions that give us the rush in the brain of dopamine and goes throughout the body and it makes us feel good. It's a comfort. We're addicted to pleasure. It's pleasure. So if, say we think about having sexual relations, or if someone thinks about going and looking at porn on the internet, the dopamine already starts rushing in the brain before the person begins to have the sexual relation, or before the person begins to even open their laptop or whatever to look at the porn. There's a rush of dopamine, and that's where the addiction can be stopped. It's at that first rush of dopamine. But what are we replacing that with? And there's so many things we can replace it with. And, we can look online because people talk about this. We can exercise, we can, think about something else, do art, create something, work, go do something, work hard. But ultimately, okay, say we're laying in bed and we could be addicted to thought. Women, we have this, okay? Now, don't deny it. We are addicted to thinking. We're addicted to, and it's control. It's control. We have to think out things, and, our emotions lead us. That's the way we're built. And there's a lot of reasons for that, for us being built that way, because we're nurturers and we're caretakers for the most part. Not everyone and not to every degree. But, just the way that women are built in general, men are, they're made to be strong, go out there and kill and hunt and take care of the family and all of that and work hard. And women are made to be nurturers and caretakers. So we are more in our brains and our emotions. And we get addicted to emotions. We actually do. And, not all women are addicted to those gentle, soft, loving emotions. Some of us are addicted to control. I would say I have not met a woman that is not addicted to control. I can't say this for men, but I have never met a woman that's not addicted to control. And what is control associated with? Like, why do we want to control? And how do we control? If we can't control what's happening around us, we can use our brains, our imaginations, our thought patterns to try to control inside of our mind. And we could just get into a whole video about what that actually does to the body. But when we think, when we continue to think, or even if we start a thought and allow it to continue to roll, dopamine's being released out of our brain. It comes from fear and survival. And that stuff is deeply inherent in our DNA, in our ancestry, in our iniquity, and our ancestors' traumas, built upon every generation's traumas and our own, seen and unseen, conscious and unconscious. And so women are addicted to thinking, and women are addicted to control, and it allows for dopamine release in the brain, which is a comfort, a pleasure. We actually feel pleasure when we think. And I'm just talking about the neurobiology of this and neurophysiology of this because in religion, we're taught to stop doing these things, but we don't know why we do them, first of all, physiologically, why we do them, what our bodies are craving when we do them. We don't understand. And yet these things are now being opened to us. I mean, you can find online large groups of men who are anti-porn now. they actually realize the hijacking that this has done to the male population and how it's destroyed them. And they know about dopamine addiction. They know about saving your testosterone. They know about saving your life force. Sperm is life force. And that addiction leads them to drain the life force out of their bodies, which makes them strong and powerful. That's another whole video. But what I'm saying is that there's an awakening happening. There's an awakening that is spreading and beginning to open our understanding about why we do what we do. Now, can addiction become sinful? Of course it is. It is sinful. But if we're in a religious mindset, we will constantly be in a loop of condemnation and shame, which keeps us under demonic oppression that we can never get out of because we don't understand about the body. And this is why what happened with C19, if we don't understand what a virus is, we will be caught in a loop of fear and constant derision and division with others, because there is a system, a lying system that doesn't want us to understand about our bodies, how powerful they are and how they are a miracle, a multifaceted, beyond understanding miracle. We could just study the body until we die and never know all about it. But what I just want to offer today is that the Holy Spirit offers us the antidote to dopamine addiction, to what dopamine addiction does. The Holy Spirit, when we meditate on some kind of attribute of the kingdom, some kind of promise, some kind of gift, some kind of revelation of the kingdom, the holy kingdom, what happens in our brain and our bodies supersedes what the dopamine does in our addictions. We get high on heaven, we get high on the holy kingdom, and we actually get a physical and visceral response to that. It goes throughout our being, it goes through our brain, and then it emanates through our mind. Because what does addiction do? I mean, nobody feels good after they do something they're addicted to. If I get in a bad trade and it's because I'm being impulsive and I'm getting that dopamine release, and then I lose money, I feel like, like I feel like beep. I feel like crap. I feel horrible. I'm ashamed. I'm like, why did I execute that trade? I knew it wasn't going to be a good trade, but it was the dopamine addiction. And yes, trading can become like gambling. Absolutely. It takes great discipline. Been there, done that. And again, you can't judge. You can't judge. I can't judge because we all have dopamine addiction. But the Holy Spirit offers us a high on God and a high on the kingdom of heaven that is ongoing. It's not like we can just sit there and think about the Holy Spirit. It's like we have to keep advancing. God offers us the opportunity to keep advancing in the kingdom on a moment by moment basis so that we are high in the Holy Spirit. And it's not like we're sitting there just high. It's bringing us into the kingdom, which emanates through our being viscerally, neurologically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And we start pulsating heaven. And then it comes through our 3D realm. And then God starts calling us to do things that are radical. And those things are things we wouldn't do in our dulled down, addicted flesh. Never. We would not do those things. And this is a process we can walk in moment by moment. And it's a key to the kingdom. It's a secret of the kingdom. And what this world system does is want to keep us in those down addictions, those hellish, dark, oppressive addictions in this realm, addicted to all the things that the world system offers in fear. And God is opening the understanding of mankind. God is awakening mankind to understand about our body and what happens in dopamine addiction. And we need dopamine, it keeps us alive. We have it inside of us. And there are other neurotransmitters as well, like serotonin and oxytocin. Um, there's the body is just endlessly miraculous. That's all I can say. If we could stop doing one thing every day and just study something about the body, it would blow our minds. If we just meditated on the miracle of our bodies, that would blow our minds. And we would take care of our bodies better too. And I'm convicted about that. We all are. As we understand this, we become convicted. That's why when someone begins to work out and see what happens to their body, they get convicted when they go to eat the wrong thing. And that's where conviction comes in, because how can we be convicted unless we have knowledge and understanding and awakening and revelation about something? And all revelation isn't up there in, some realm of like nebulous ghosts. It's about what we're living in right here in this place is where we get revelation. And I encourage you to begin to understand what dopamine addiction is for you. And it's rooted in fear. And God is seeking to set us free. He is healing the amygdala of our brains that lives in fight or flight. And as you pray for yourself, and I will pray right now, God, I thank you. I thank you for the spirit of wisdom and revelation. I thank you for understanding. I thank you for opening the minds and the brains of mankind right now to understanding our bodies better. Father, I ask you in the name of Christ to now release your healing power upon our brains, upon our amygdalas, upon our addicted patterns and behaviors to restructure and heal our neuroplasticity, to give us understanding about addiction and about the patterns, the sinful patterns that we walk in on a daily basis, based in control and fear, and to deliver us. Deliver us, oh God. Release your power and your deliverance right now to those who will humble themselves. We humble ourselves to you and admit that we need you. We need you, God. We are afraid. And we ask you to deliver us from fear, which delivers us from evil ways and sinful patterns and behaviors, and cause us to be filled with the power of the Holy Spirit. Show us what behaviors we need to replace with healthy patterns and healthy behaviors and healthy thought processes. We release the healing over the brains of humanity right now, over the humble hearts and minds of those who are willing and seeking and calling out to you, oh God, right now. We release your power. I release your power over me, God, in Jesus' holy name. And we ask you to expand, enlarge, and release this work in a miraculous, explosive way, oh God, and deliver us. Deliver us, God. Give us the power to deliver others through the Holy Spirit. Continually pour out your Holy Spirit upon us, oh God, upon our brains, upon our minds, upon our beings, that we would walk in the power of heaven, the holy kingdom, and out of this world and the things that suck us in to fearful desires and lustful desires. Free us, oh God, free us. Liberate us in your Holy Spirit. Would you get us high on heaven, oh God? Get us high on your holy kingdom, on your Holy Spirit. Let others experience this, oh God. May I experience this, oh God, in greater and greater measure. All of us who cry out to you and seek you for it. Amen.